Guns were the factor in the hunting of our kids in this school this week. And look at me and tell me you accept it.
How about no?
Americans have more arms than Weinstein and a casting couch. Hundreds of millions of them, mind you. Believe me, bitch, if it was the problem the media make it out to be, they'd be using a fuck of a lot more than mere mass shooting outliers to establish this fact. Never mind the ass-rending irony that the most vehement bastions of blaster control are invariably headquartered in a major murder metropolis where the only aerial particle warnings refer to fucking bullets. And don't give me that Japan fixed the problem with gun control shit, jagoff. Japan had a virtually non-existent gun culture and crime rate before enacting their draconian gun laws. Firearms, unlike animated alien tentacle dicks, never achieved full penetration on glorious Nippon, the remoteness and racial homogeneity of which has as much to do, frankly, with a lack of urban Rambo incidents as anything the fuck else. In short, if you can truly legislate this problem away, if this is not a mere societal or cultural concern, explain the fuck to me why South Korea has identical gun laws yet suffers the second highest gun suicide rate in the world. One word, K-pop. And I hate to break it to you, Tanaka, but mass murder exists in Weebtopia as well. As recently as a year and a half ago, a knife-wielding whack job wasted 20 people in one of those mass motherfucking stabbing incidents the left love to pretend do not in fact exist. Point being, maybe molding ourselves in the likeness of an utterly unique island chain that's effectively a goddamn ethno-state isn't a catch-all solution for a multi-ethnic country that was literally conceived with fucking firearms. And I don't want to hear from any open shirt, soft cheese chomping fucking Euro trash about how embarrassed they are for the states due to our ongoing gun problem. Frankly, fuck knob, decked in the streets of the Champs-Elysees with the moldering bodies of innocent children, not to mention fucking cartoonists, in the name of cultural enrichment. Wasn't exactly a great look either, Gustav. If I seem winded, it's because I just got back from my French self-defense course. I never run so hard in my fucking life. And don't give me that technological advancement twattery as an excuse to roll back empirical rights guaranteed by the Constitution either, asshat. Fuck's sake, the founders granted us access to our very own cannons and naval frigates. I'm going out on a limb and saying nothing the Ruger Corporation cooked up for a fucking pheasant hunt is gonna give Jefferson a case of the vapors. And speaking of old TJ, as awkwardly as these knuckle-dragging dipshits try to shove the word militia into the Second Amendment, to which the inalienable right to keep and bear arms does not fucking refer, for the record, are any of the buyback brigade aware we don't even need to interpret the nebulous intent of the Founding Fathers? From Washington to Franklin to old T-Boz Jefferson himself, the architects of the Second Amendment wrote treatises on the subject fucking extensively. Here, have some greatest hits. No free man shall ever be debarred the use of arms. Jefferson. The right to keep and bear arms is, quote, a basic human right. My man Monroe. Every husbandman will be quickly converted into a soldier when he feels that he is to fight not in the defense of the rights of a particular family or prince, but for his own. George motherfucking Mason. Consult the fucking Federalist Papers, for Christ's sake. But Razor, who even knows what the founders meant by bear arms? You got me, you fucking goof. Clearly they were endorsing Yogi Bear cosplay. But sure, let's break it down, bitch. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Hey, you fucking knob, I think I see what you mean there. That shall not be infringed shit is just a regular wellspring of interpretive ambiguity, ain't it? And before you dust off the tired-ass technological advancement rejoinder for a second time, alleging that the Second Amendment is overdue to be mangled because something, the nice man with hair plugs on CNN says guns are a lot scarier now. God, if only the Founding Fathers could have predicted advancements in fucking firearms, like if, I don't know, if the birth of this butt-fucking nation owed its entirety to the abrupt advancements in musketry and shit that allowed the incipient American colonies to cast off the yoke of English tyranny or some shit. Oh, but Rather, at least buy 'em bump stocks. They're basically ready-made murder machines, bitch. What is a bump stock? Anyone know? I mean, I admit I actually had to look it up, not being an automatic rifle fan. It's literally a stock rigged with a spring that snaps back and forth in rapid succession to simulate automatic fire. You're telling me the Founding Fathers couldn't conceive of the advent of a fucking spring? Repeating mechanisms have existed since the days of the goddamn crossbow, you cunts! Folks, Let's be fucking frank here. This ain't about guns. It never was. The core flaw seems to be one of the ageless adversaries of all mankind. The immutable reality of our own lack of control over the inevitable and refusal to acknowledge said fact. Some people simply need to believe that outlawing violent games would have stopped a mentally ill man-child from shooting up in elementary school. Not because we simply must think of the children, but because the thought of actually waking up in a world where incomprehensible tragedies regularly occur and we can't actually do a fucking thing about it terrifies them half to fucking death. So they elect a snake oil salesman with a pursed-lip grin, ironclad diction, and a reassuring tone of voice to foster the illusion of control. They tell themselves that even if we can't control another man's madness, perhaps we can reduce the impact of said disasters by regulating handguns or keeping Call of Duty out of our children's dainty digits. No, asshole! The only reason we should keep Call of Duty out of anyone's hands is to spare them the agony of playing the fucking shit beast. And none of it should be regulated by the goddamn government because it is impossible to render an inch under the federales and preclude them from taking the mile they believe they're entitled to thereafter. The simple fact is, you have no control over anything but your own life, and even that grasp is fairly tenuous. The only certain way of ensuring the soft drink companies don't add one more land whale to the herd is by deciding that you yourself will not be counted among them. Likewise, the only way to ensure one more child doesn't descend into a murderous rampage and turn their school into a Stallone film is by properly parenting your own fucking kids. At first glance, the concept of admitting you have no control over the depraved actions of others is horrifying, but the act of electing a ghoul and a loud tie to put you from that fear is the only surefire fucking way of surrendering what marginal measure of control you have over your own fucking lives to begin with. I mean, let's be real here. The left don't want no guns. They want lots of guns in the hands of police, preferably while pointing them directly at us. Don't believe me? Ask him to remove the armed security from next year's DNC and note the fucking Roadrunner cloud vanishing into the distance. Don't like the Florida shooting victims being told they're wrong about gun control? Maybe the left shouldn't have enlisted these kids, many of whom were eager indoctrinaires long before this shooting as a glorified fucking criticism shield. Funny thing about shields, they tend to take fucking fire. You engineered their involvement for precisely this purpose. So when you feign indignation now that they've achieved it, we see through you like a Victoria's Secret camisole. Gun control. Then as now. Now as always. The key word is fucking control. I'm Razor Fist. God fucking speed.
What do you say, John?